Good morning. Welcome back to SHRALP Stories, Tech Tips with Uncle Kolty's, episode number 4. We're in the same place we were in the last time, and the time before that, and the time before that too. But we've got a lot of requests to learn how to do bottom turns. So I'm gonna give you some tech tips on how to do a bottom turn. Today I'm riding a 510 by 18.88 by 2.32 squash tail thruster from Timmy Patterson Surfboards, San Clemente, California. We're gonna go surf, so pay attention. That seemed to work last time. You guys need to fucking watch out. But let's go surf. When your traction's so grippy, you can play music with it. Right on. Well, that was a good shout. The waves were fun. It's pretty bouncy. There's a lot of current, big rip current going off the point there. It's kind of crowded for a little bit at the beginning there. Kind of had a rough time, and then towards the end got a bunch of fun waves. It made it pretty difficult to lay into some bottom turns. I'll show you some where I fell that didn't fall actually. I was kind of safety surfing a little because I didn't have a leash, and there's a lot of big rocks right around there. So I didn't really feel like losing my board into the rocks and having to do ding work all day on my birthday. I'll show you a couple clips though where I had a hard time setting my rail and keeping it in the water, and the board kind of was like wobbling, and it was really hard to get like good drive out of the board. So I'll show you a couple of those, and then I'll show you some where I actually got it to hold and grip super well. It got good spring off the bottom that'll throw me right into the lip with speed, and then I have speed and power to come back around and do any turn that I want to do. So stay tuned. We're gonna head over to SHRALP HQ right now. We're gonna go over some clips, then I'm gonna go surf again. I'll see you there. All right, so surf was fun. We made it back over to SHRALP HQ. Bottom turn is probably the most important thing in surfing. It sets up everything that you're gonna be doing on a wave, whether you're getting barreled, doing a turn, doing an air, whatever it may be, everything relies on your bottom turn. And the biggest thing that I can recommend to you, 2 of them actually. Get really low to your surfboard, lower than you expect. You're gonna have more control. Keep your shoulders and arms wide and reach over your rail. That's gonna give you the direction and the projection as well to get speed and power out of your bottom turn. You got a few pulled up here on the screen. First one we're going to do is grab rail bottom turn backside, and then we're going to move on to our forehand bottom turns. So first wave, I'm dropping in and I'm like going really straight because the wave is a peak and I'm like right at the edge of that peak. So I want to be in the power source, which is like the tallest part of the wave where the closest part of the breaking wave is. That's where you're going to want to get all of your speed and all of your power, and also where you're going to want to do your turn. Right now I'm going more straight as I'm dropping in, looking over my shoulder, eyeing where eventually I want to go, but I'm not turning my shoulders yet. Once you open your shoulders and turn, you're going to adjust your weight and start rolling onto your rail. So I'm being very clear to like keep my shoulders exactly where they would be, but glancing over my shoulder just to get an idea of where I'm at. And then once I start wanting to do the turn, I bend way down and get super low center of gravity, and then I reach my front arm over off this left rail of my surfboard so that I can come around the bottom. And then just to get a little bit extra control, because it was kind of bumpy this morning, I reach down and I grab my outside rail with my back arm so that I have a leverage point to keep my rail exactly where it's going to be. So when I go on rail, sometimes your board's going to want to wiggle or do weird stuff. So by grabbing that outside rail, you have a spot to pull up if you need to, or push down if you need to as well. Pulling up is going to get you more drive and fling you up into the lip, whereas pushing down is going to make you go a little bit more straight for a second as well. I'm holding it, and then I release, and I look up and I start eyeing the lip up above me as I'm still bottom turning. So everything starts with your head, shoulders, hips, knees, then toes. Everything starts up here. So you're looking where you want to go, and then everything's going to eventually follow it. Start from the top. Drop in. You're going straight, looking over your shoulder, eyeing where you want to go. Look back straight again, and then start rotating over off the side of your board and hold your rail line for as long as possible so that once you're at the very bottom of the wave, then you can start pushing and expanding because you're all low center of gravity, close to your board, you know? So once you get to the very bottom of the wave and halfway through your bottom turn, that's when you start expanding and you get your projection up towards the lip. And then it allows you to go vertical, do your turn, and come back down again for another one. And hopefully have speed still. All right, so the next one we got here is a right. And once again, I'm taking off. If this is the peak of the wave, I'm taking off on the shoulder of it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in, and right as I pop up, I instantly fade left. You'll see like I shimmy my board a little bit, do like a little push with my back foot, and bring my front foot off to the left to try to get myself to be a little bit deeper. Where you're taking off, you can like shimmy yourself deeper just a little bit by fading when you take off, it's called. I'm going to fade, and then I'm going to come off the bottom. I did a little pump to get some speed, generate a little speed on my toes. And then I crouch way down, and I got my arm out in front of me like this, right? So when I'm doing the bottom turn, I did my fade, right? Kick back, and then I did a little pump to get some speed, and then I'm crouching way down, back knee bent in, toes both pointing forward, and then I'm going to reach my arm out off to the side of the rail, so that gives me a good leverage point over this rail. Rather than being like right in the middle and being like this or something, you won't have much control. Whereas if you reach your arm over, you can dip it in the water and kind of scoop it, or you can do so much, you have so much more ability and more control when you're wider and lower like this. So I'm reaching off the side of my rail, off the front, then I pull it back and I spring myself. So once I come off the bottom like this, I pull my arm back, give myself some torque, kind of like we were talking about with the airs. Spring off the back, and then it allows you to get more projection to throw your shoulders around and have power throughout your turn. This time, dropping in a little bit later. So you'll notice this wave's a little bit, there's a little bit of whitewash, a little bit of bump and chop in it. I don't know if you've ever ridden a jet ski, but when you're riding it and you're going through like whitewash on a wave, like after a wave came through, it's sucking in all that air and it's not getting much propulsion because there's actually air bubbles in the water. That's what all the whitewash is air like churned up in the water floating around in there. So the same thing's going to happen on your surfboard. There's a lot of chatter and not a lot of connection. You'll notice on a smooth glassy wave, you'll have really good connection, really good drive, and you can push as hard as you really want to. So when it's foamy like this, you're gonna have a tough time keeping your fins engaged in the water because there's more air. It's less dense, you know. It's gonna want to pop out more rather than staying sunk into the water. This one here in particular, so I'm dropping in a little late, I disconnect, I regain control, and I'm coming off the bottom, did a little pump to get some more speed and kind of set my rail. So a lot of the times actually, I really like to do a little pump before I start getting speed, because then it kind of allows your feet to wiggle around a little bit to get yourself settled into the wax in your board, which is funny to say, but it actually works. But get a little wiggle, get your feet set, generate some speed too. And then I do the same thing again. I put my hand out over the side of the rail and I start looking where I want to go. And I'm leaning my entire body off the side of that rail. And I'm putting all my faith and all my trust in the rail of my surfboard, from your front foot back, and the fins as well. So you can kind of start to pick your back foot. It sounds weird, but you can kind of pick your back foot up a little bit, like you're trying to push your tail out, and it'll actually engage your fins a little bit more and kind of flex them to give you a lot of spring and a lot of push out of your bottom turn. Now your board's also going to be flexing underneath your feet too. So what will happen is your board's like this, and as you bottom turn, the tail is going to flex up, and then it's going to spring back once you finish your bottom turn, and that's going to give you that fling up towards the lip. You're going to have to learn how to control that. So this one here, I come off the bottom and I get that good projection. I go from really low, really close to my board, to all the way springed out, expand, and then you have to crunch yourself back down to do it again before you do that turn. So you go from low to expand to back to crunched again. And then you have to expand again on your turn. So basically, you're going to be leaning over your rail, reaching and coiling up, bring it behind you, and then project it. So all your bottom turn is setting up your top turn. It's a setup turn. So you want to be nice and low, really controlled, really slow, because the wave's moving in. You got to realize you're moving down the line and in, but you're trying to put yourself going opposite direction of the wave. So you have to counter for the wave coming in and you coming up too. So that's why you go way out into the flats, slow and low, and you're gonna come around with a lot more speed than you expect, because you'll be so low down, your rail's gonna be set and gaining speed while a wave's coming towards you as well. So nice and low, expand, put yourself into the lip and just hold. And try to just, maybe don't expand all the way, like expand just a little bit and just hold that expansion exactly where you are and go from your toes to your heels. And you're gonna go from this position, reaching over your rail on the bottom turn, into this position when you're on the top turn. Bring your hand up in front of your face and your other hand down over your heel side rail. So all of it is just trusting your rail, trusting your fins, trusting your surfboard, whoever built it. Timmy Patterson, love you. You're gonna be putting a lot of faith in your surfboard builder. So, there's a couple tips on how to do some bottom turns. Hope you guys learned something. Stay tuned next week for tech tips with Uncle Kolty. You're gonna learn the difference between epoxy surfboards and poly surfboards. Stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget all that too, if you wanna watch more. Make some comments maybe. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me I look stupid. Tell me something. All right, I'll see you next time.
We're tied to a button, it's time to go. No reason to take it slow. Gotta get up, hit the road, and say what's up to Poncho.